world, and I started kind of putting it out there. And one of my coaches and mentors said, hey Spring, if you think people are just going to change brokerages, you're crazy. You need something of value. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? So the first thing I did was, we were growing and scaling at the time, and I'm like, we're having some massive growth right now. I'm going to put on social media that I'm going to do a behind the scenes of my real estate team. And I said, I'm going to host 40 people who want to come see how I've grown and scaled my business. It was the first event I've ever done, and we hosted it back in 2021, 2022, something like that. And we had about 40 team owners from across the country, just that I knew from social media, show up to our office. And in that event, then people were like, dang, this is so awesome. And we showed them how we use EOS and how we run our sales meetings and just how we use Sisu. And we actually partnered with Sisu on that event too. We to show how we lead with the numbers. And then what happened was people loved the event and were like, well, what's next? And I'm like, well, I don't know. How about we go on a 12-week journey? So at that event, I sold them a 12-week Zoom that I took them through everything we did, from agent attractions for our teams, right? Agent attractions for your team, how we run our sales meetings, like just deep dive of what we actually taught. And then from there, the 12 weeks was up, and those people in that 12 weeks said, well, what's next? And I'm like, well, let's put together a mastermind. And so that's where the inner circle came from. So none of this actually was designed, originally it was, I wanted something of value to put out that I could attract people to get into my ecosystem, and then they'd ultimately end up in my agent attraction or not. But it didn't happen in a place of like, I'm gonna go be a coach. It was, I wanna put something out there of value, and then hopefully they wanna talk to me about rev share. I have a great drawing, and so for all of you guys that wanna do rev share and wanna do coaching, the way that I like to look at it is your core business needs to be your core business. So if you are in production, like, be in production. And then the revenue share and the coaching, they intertwine. Because generally what's gonna happen is they come to our coaching, I will never talk about revenue share.
I was gonna ask you.
Yes, I never talk about it. If you've ever come to one of my events, it is never brought up.
Well, so certainly not about revenue share. And by the way, those of you who've been through Fast Track, do you guys know the #1 rule of revenue share? We don't talk about revenue share until
They ask.
they ask about revenue share.
Yep.
Trust me on that one, friends. But I'm curious, so you don't talk about revenue share. Do you talk about EXP?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty loud that people know I'm an EXP. But no, I want to respect that they're hiring me as a coach.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing worse than a bait and switch when people are like, oh my gosh. So we bring them into our world, but generally speaking, they're like, oh, she's making money through revenue share. Oh, I like what she's creating. Can I talk to her about it? And so it just ends up intertwining. I have people at every brokerage. We're brand agnostic in our world, but we do end up getting in partnership, because in our revenue share organization, we do offer a lot of coaching for free. And so it's like, oh, I want to be in this. I want to offer this out to the world once they get exposed to it.
I find that you don't really have to, as long as you're providing value. They're
Yeah.
going to want to align themselves in every way with you,
Right.
including joining your company.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like, we're doing a lot of co-sponsorship right now together, and we're doing a lot of events, and people are just like, hey, how can we be in alignment? And that's just how it starts.
Okay. Now, we had a fun conversation back in December of last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah.
And you and she's coached by John Shepback, by the way, fantastic coach. And you made a decision there in that room in New York that you were going to document. And you
In Dallas. We were
Was
in
that
Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah, we were in Dallas. Yeah, it's great.
Because
Yeah.
you're so high end. I thought we were in New York. I'm getting old too. So what does that mean when you think about documenting as a coach? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, so what he's referring to is, I was at a different revenue share organization or company. I built a revenue share organization. I was making 7 figures annually in revenue share, and I walked away to rebuild at EXP. And so I am in a rebuild, and so I said, I'm going to document the process. Part of the reason I said yes when Leo approached me, and I'm going to talk about this on Center Stage tomorrow, but part of the reason I said yes is because there's a misconception that you need to go to the new company to be successful at revenue share. Like, how many of you guys have talked to people about rev share and like, oh, I need to go to XYZ because there's not very many agents out of the competition. Like, that is the narrative that's running and playing. And so I'm like, I'm gonna show and document that like you can build revenue share coming at, I'm like agent 80,000 in the company, right? And so we're documenting it. Stacy right there. Stacy follows me around. She's documenting. She flew here from Salt Lake City. I write all my own emails. I have a blog. If you're subscribed to my blog, you'll see it. Like every email, my email open rate, fun fact, is like 70% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's because I actually write them. Like I'm talking about my real life. Like I'll talk about, hey, I'm in Miami. Like here's what's going on. And so social media I document. We do a ton of emails. We do video, and we're really just showing you like behind the scenes of really what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm curious too, because I know a lot of the mistakes that coaches make is they think coaching is training. They think coaching is training. And on or about the like 4th to 6th call, they run out of material. Right? And so how do you, for you, when you're thinking about coaching versus like spring break and some of your events, how do you distinguish between those two in your mind?
Well, our events are different. So Real Estate Spring Break is a vibe, and you all need to come next year. It's in Salt Lake City in March. But Real Estate Spring Break is like a conference, and so we're like our masterminds, like the inner circle, is more of like a mastermind. So I would say to you, our events just depend on what you're coming for. Like for example, the mastermind we're talking about, you saw in Scottsdale, is $30,000. So same with Brandon. We are high ticket. Like we're not the cheapest option out there. I only want to be around people who want to grow and scale. And so the events are very high tactical and also a lot of identity, back to the neuroscience and things. Like we can teach you what to do, but if your identity is lacking, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Very well said.
I do want to say one thing on events, and probably over on time. If you are going to throw any events, this is including your team's events, this is my secret sauce, is Google Tony Robbins 6 human needs, and think about how you can meet the 6 human needs with each one as you do an event. So when I go and do an event, I'm like, how can I meet every one of their needs? So like certainty. So certainty is the need to like know what's going on, right? So there's a bunch of emails that goes out, there's a bunch of text messages, so they have the certainty. Variety and uncertainty is part of it. So how do we have some activities or things that are coming up? How do we connect them? So I won't go through all of it, but if you want to put on an amazing event, start thinking about the experience that they're going to go through. And this is again for your teams as well. And that's my secret sauce.
Yeah, it's funny because Brandon and I, when we plot out the